Hi, I'm Allison from Learning at the Primary Pond. I'm a literacy specialist, and in this video, I'm going to share with you why I prefer to use writing folders in kindergarten, first grade, and often second grade as well, instead of using writing notebooks. Also going to share with you some great tips for making writing folders work for you and your kiddos. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to hit subscribe and the little bell to be notified every time I post a brand new video about teaching literacy in K2. All right, so before we really dive into this, I have a question for you. Do you use writing folders in your classroom? Type yes in the comments if so, and type no in the comments if not. So I'm going to dive in by just sharing with you four big whys, four reasons why I like to use writing folders more than I like to use writing notebooks. Writing notebooks can be great for maybe like jotting down ideas or for like reading journals or for science socialities, whatever. I'm not knocking notebooks. But the way that I teach writing folders just work much better. So reason number one, and this is mostly relevant for like kindergartners or early first graders, when we use writing folders, we can give our kids these little like stapled booklets here. So this, kindergartners wouldn't start with that. We just start with drawing. But by the time we get to this point, they can use these little stapled booklets. I use 3 pages, one for beginning, middle, and end. And they can like write and draw a picture here. So this, what they're making here is a book, right? Which is very similar to the books that you're reading them. So when we use writing folders, we're creating a really relatable experience and they get to feel like real authors. I'm making this book, I store it in my writing folder. Again, not necessarily knocking notebooks, but it doesn't quite have that same experience of, hey, like I made this book and here is my book. So again, I just staple these like 3 little pages together. You can staple more pages, especially if you teach like later first grade or second grade. Okay, reason number 2 is that with notebooks, what I found is that my kids often they'll start a story, they lose track of where it is in the journal or the notebook. The story just goes on forever. Whereas with these little booklets, there's like a clear defined like beginning, middle, and end, right? And maybe there's more pages than 3, but it just provides a little more clarity. I've found that when my kids write in notebooks, sometimes their stories just kind of go on or they don't finish one. This can just help them stay organized a little bit better, especially for those like kinder or first grade students. All right, next up is that if you use this little booklet, it is easier to add or remove pages. All you would need to do is take the staples out, which I wouldn't have my kids do. I would do that. Or you can just kind of like staple an extra page on. Whereas with a journal, if a kid fills up a page, you could have them skip pages, so that's an option, or like only write on one side, but it's a little bit harder to really do major revisions to a piece of writing. But with this little stapled booklet, it's a little bit easier to add or take out pages. Okay, tip number 4 is that these are easier to share with others. So I, number 1, like to have my kids share with a partner after every writing time. They come, they sit on the rug, they keep their notebooks, their little folders with them, and then they get to take out a piece of writing that they've been working on, does not have to be finished, and they get to read it or share it with a partner. If it's kindergarten, it might just be drawings. Kindergarten at the beginning of the year, we use writing folders, but they're literally just putting in like sheets of paper that they're drawing pictures on. Anyway, you can have them share with like a journal or a folder with these little booklets. However, if you want to display writing in the hallway or, like put their little books in the classroom library or send home specific pieces to parents, it is kind of nice to have the booklet because you don't want to like send home an entire journal. You can't display a journal in the hallway, like that kind of thing. So it does make it a little bit easier for kids to share their writing with others. So those are my 4 reasons. Now I want to go over some tips that will help you make writing folders work for you and your kiddos. So my first tip here, by the way, I do have like this cover and all the tools that I have inside the writing folders available free. I will share a link for that below this video or next to this video, wherever you're watching it, so you can grab these writing folder tools for free. But I highly recommend using a folder that has like it's made from plastic or cardboard, and then one that has the brads inside. So you can see here that I've put like an alphabet chart and like an editing checklist, other things in here. So I highly recommend getting something sturdy so it lasts longer, not just like the paper thin folders, and then also getting the brads. I also recommend putting a green sticker on one side and then a red sticker on the other side. So the green sticker is for pieces of writing that are still in progress. Green means go. The red sticker side is for pieces of writing that are finished. They're not in progress, they're done. So this gives kids an easy way to organize the materials that are in their writing folders. And then also, the nice thing about keeping multiple pieces here is that sometimes I'll teach them a skill and I'll say, okay, go to the red side of your folder and pull out a piece of writing that you think is finished. Let's use this new skill that I've taught you to revise or edit or improve that piece of writing. So having that piece of writing really handy is great because kids need lots of practice with revising and editing. It enables them to have something to pull from to, put whatever skill you're teaching into practice. So red and green stickers, make sure that the kids can access these easily if you're using writing folders. Ideally, it's in like a desk or like a little pouch on the back of their chair so they can quickly get to it so you're not wasting time during writing time. Now, if you don't have desks or cubby holes or anything for them, what you can do is have like each table group in a bin, and then the table leader goes and will get the writing folders for the kids, but you want the material access to be pretty fast so that they can get right down to work. Okay. Second to last tip is to make sure to have your kids clean them out. Otherwise, they will get so full. So usually, I'll have my kids clean them out at like the end of a unit. However, if it's a longer unit, like, 5 weeks or up, or even sometimes more than 3 weeks, we will clean it out midway. So I may save a sample and put it in there. Not to confuse you, I'll have like a manila writing folder in a file cabinet for each one of my kiddos. So I might pull a sample and keep it. But then they get to take everything else home. So cleaning them out is essential. Last but not least, I want to show you these free tools that I have for you. I have the cover in case you want to use that. I have alphabet chart, blends and digraphs if you want to include that. I have an editing checklist, and then I have different little mini anchor charts for different genres. Like this one is informational writing, but I have them for opinion and narrative writing. This is all free, so make sure to look for the link that goes with this video so that you can grab these free writing folder tools and set up writing folders for your students. All right, hope this was helpful. Make sure to look for that link, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.